A scream tore through the parking lot darkness. Two men dragged a young woman toward a black sedan. She clawed at the asphalt, her voice breaking into sobs. From the shadows between parked cars, a figure emerged. Faded work shirt, calloused hands. He moved without hesitation. 30 seconds. That was all it took. Both men collapsed. The woman stumbled backward, trembling. "Thank you," she whispered. He only nodded, then disappeared into the night before she could see his face clearly. He did not know that the girl he saved would change everything, or that tomorrow someone would come looking for him. His name was Marcus Hayes, 42 years old, a plumber who fixed what others broke. He lived in a weathered trailer on the edge of town, the kind with rust spots on the siding and a screen door that squeaked when the wind blew. Inside, everything was clean. Every morning began the same way. 5 o'clock, no alarm needed. Marcus made breakfast in the narrow kitchen. Scrambled eggs, toast. He set 2 plates on the small table, then walked down the cramped hallway. His daughter's room was the only one with color. Drawings taped to the walls. A stuffed rabbit on the pillow. He knocked softly. "Lily, time to wake up, sweetheart." She was 8 years old. Dark hair like her mother. Eyes that saw too much for her age. Lily sat up and rubbed her face. On her wrist, she wore a small bracelet made of blue yarn. Faded now, but she never took it off. "Morning, Daddy." Marcus smiled. It was the only time his face softened. They ate together in silence, the comfortable kind. He was not good with words, but he braided her hair every morning. His fingers were clumsy, the braid always a little crooked. Lily never complained. "You look pretty," Marcus said. She grinned. "You say that every day." He drove her to school in his old pickup truck. The engine rattled. The passenger window would not roll down all the way, but the interior was spotless. At the drop-off line, Lily unbuckled her seatbelt and leaned over to hug him. She hopped out, backpack bouncing. Marcus watched until she disappeared through the school doors. Only then did he allow himself to breathe. The ring on his finger caught the morning light. He had not taken it off in 3 years. 3 years since the accident. His wife, Sarah, had been driving home from the grocery store. None of it mattered when the other car ran the red. The police said she died on impact. Marcus seemed to collapse. He sold their house, sold most of their things, kept only what Lily needed and the memories he could not let go. The blue yarn bracelet had been Sarah's last project. She was knitting a blanket for winter when the call came. Lily found the yarn in a box weeks later and tied it around her wrist. "So Mommy is always with me," she had said. Marcus worked to survive. People thought he was cold, distant. They did not know that every time he walked into a family's home, he saw the ghost of the life he used to have. At night, after Lily went to bed, Marcus sat on the trailer steps and stared at the stars. He thought about Sarah, about the promise he made at her grave. "I will take care of her. I will keep her safe. And I will not let this world make me stop caring." He touched the ring. It was all he had left of the man he used to be. Part 3. Simple Life Before the Storm. Asterisk asterisk. Word count. 476 asterisk asterisk. Monday morning arrived like all the others. Marcus drove through the quiet streets, his toolbox rattling in the truck bed. The job was in the north end of town. Big houses, manicured lawns. The family who hired him barely looked at him when he arrived. The wife pointed to the bathroom upstairs. "Second floor. The heating system is broken. Fix it quickly. We have guests coming tonight." No greeting, no thank you, just orders. Marcus nodded and carried his tools inside. He worked in silence. The couple never checked on him. When he finished, he left the invoice on the kitchen counter and let himself out. No one said goodbye. By noon, Marcus sat under an oak tree in a public park, eating the lunch Lily had packed for him that morning. A sandwich, slightly squashed. An apple. A note on a folded napkin. Asterisk. "You're the best, Daddy." Asterisk. He tucked the note into his shirt pocket. The parking lot from last night kept creeping back into his mind. The woman's face, the way her hands had shaken when he helped her up. He wondered if she was okay, if she had told anyone what happened. He wondered if the two men would come looking for him. Marcus shook his head. He could not afford to think like that. He had Lily to worry about. That was all that mattered. The afternoon passed in a blur of leaking pipes and clogged drains. By the time he picked Lily up from school, exhaustion sat heavy in his bones. She climbed into the truck, backpack first, then her. "How was your day, Daddy?" "Same as always. How was yours?" Lily launched into a story about art class and her friend Jessica and a drawing of a butterfly. Marcus listened, his hands steady on the wheel, his heart a little lighter. At home, he made spaghetti. Lily set the table. They ate together, the small television murmuring in the background. The evening news came on. Marcus barely paid attention until the anchor's voice sharpened. "Breaking news tonight. 2 men were found unconscious in a grocery store parking lot late Sunday evening. Police say the men were attempting to abduct a young woman when an unidentified individual intervened. The suspects are currently hospitalized with injuries. Authorities are asking anyone with information to come forward." Lily looked up from her plate, eyes wide. "Daddy, whoever saved that lady is a hero, right?" Marcus set down his fork. His throat tightened. "Yeah, sweetheart, I guess so." Lily smiled and went back to eating. Outside the window, a black sedan rolled to a stop across the street. The engine idled. No one got out. The email arrived Tuesday morning. A new client. Address in the wealthiest part of town. Marcus drove through iron gates and perfectly trimmed hedges. The house stood 3 stories tall. White stone and tall windows. A fountain bubbled in the circular driveway. He parked his truck near the service entrance and grabbed his toolbox. A woman in her 50s answered the door. Elegant clothes, tired eyes. She barely looked at him. "You're the plumber?" "Yes, ma'am." "Upstairs. 2nd floor bathroom. The heating system." Her voice was clipped, distracted. "Please be quick." Marcus followed her inside. Marble floors, crystal chandelier, paintings on the walls that probably cost more than his trailer. She pointed to the staircase and walked away, already on her phone. He climbed the stairs, found the bathroom, and got to work. The valve was old, needed replacing. Simple job. 30 minutes, maybe 40. But then he heard it. Crying. Soft, muffled. Coming from the room next door. Marcus stopped, wrench in hand. He told himself to ignore it. Not his business. He had learned a long time ago that getting involved only brought trouble. But the sound would not leave him alone. He thought of Sarah. Lying on the pavement, bleeding out while people drove past because they did not want to get involved. He had promised her grave he would never be that person. Marcus set down his tools and walked to the adjacent door. He knocked, gently. "Hello? Are you okay in there?" The crying stopped. Silence stretched long. Then a voice, shaking. "Please, just leave me alone." It was her, the woman from the parking lot. Marcus felt his chest tighten. He tried the door. Locked. "It's me," he said quietly. "From Sunday night. I'm not going to hurt you." A long beat. Then the lock clicked. The door opened a crack. A young woman stood there, mid-20s, bruises on her arms. Her eyes were red from crying. When she saw his face, recognition flickered. "You," she whispered. Marcus nodded. "What's going on? Are you safe here?" She looked over her shoulder, then back at him. Fear covered her face like a mask. "You need to leave. If they see you talking to me, they'll hurt you too." "Who will?" She shook her head. "My father. He hired men to watch me, to control me. The men from the parking lot. They work for him. He wants me to marry someone I don't love. Someone who will help his business. I tried to run, but they found me." Marcus stared at her. "Your father did this? He thinks he's protecting me, but he's not. He's trapping me." Her voice cracked. "Please, You've already done enough. Just go. But Marcus could not move. He saw Sarah in this girl, saw every person who ever needed help and did not get it. I'll come back tonight, he said. We'll figure something out. Her eyes widened. No, you don't understand. They'll kill you. I understand more than you think. Before she could respond, heavy footsteps echoed down the hall. 2 men appeared, large, angry, bruises still visible on their faces from Sunday night. The first one sneered. You think you're a hero, old man? Marcus knew what was coming. He set his feet and took a breath. He knew that this moment would decide everything. The hallway felt smaller with the 2 men blocking it. The first one was built like a linebacker, neck thick as a tree trunk. The second was leaner but moved like a knife. Both had murder in their eyes. Marcus did not speak. He set his toolbox down slowly, keeping his hands visible. The girl, whose name he still did not know, stepped back into her room. Please don't, she whispered. The linebacker cracked his knuckles. You embarrassed us Sunday night. Time to return the favor. Marcus stayed calm. His pulse was steady. Muscle memory from another life, one he had tried to leave behind. 8 years in the Marines, 2 tours overseas. He knew how to fight. He just did not want to anymore. But sometimes, wanting did not matter. The linebacker lunged first. Fast for his size, he threw a wide hook aimed at Marcus's jaw. Marcus sidestepped. Not far, just enough. The fist sailed past his ear. He drove his elbow into the man's ribs. Hard, precise. The linebacker gasped, stumbled. The lean one did not wait. He came in low, reaching for something at his belt. A knife. The blade flicked open. Silver. Sharp. Marcus did not hesitate. He grabbed the steel pipe from his toolbox, the one he used for leverage on stubborn fittings. The lean man slashed forward. Marcus parried with the pipe, metal ringing. He twisted his wrist, hooked the man's arm, and pulled him off balance. One swift strike to the knee. The man buckled. Marcus brought the pipe down across his forearm. The knife clattered to the floor. 40 seconds. Maybe less. The linebacker was back on his feet, rage overriding pain. He charged like a bull, arms wide, trying to tackle Marcus into the wall. Marcus stepped into the charge instead of away. He dropped his center of gravity, grabbed the man's belt, and used his own momentum against him. The linebacker crashed into the doorframe. His head bounced off the wood. He slumped. The lean man tried to crawl toward the knife. Marcus kicked it away, then placed his boot on the man's shoulder blade. Not hard, just enough. Stay down. The man went still. Marcus stepped back, breathing harder now. His hands did not shake. They never did. But his chest felt tight. The girl stood frozen in her doorway, eyes wide. Who are you? She asked. Marcus looked at her. Just a plumber. She shook her head slowly. No, you're not. Footsteps came running. The woman who answered the door appeared at the top of the stairs. When she saw the 2 men on the floor, her face went white. What have you done? She hissed. Marcus straightened. They attacked me. I defended myself. Do you have any idea what you've just done? Her voice was shaking now, not with fear, but with something else. Panic. These men work for someone very powerful. You've made a terrible mistake. The girl stepped forward. Mother, he saved me. Her mother turned on her. You were safe, Claire. You were protected. Claire's voice broke. I was a prisoner. Before anyone could say more, sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder. The woman grabbed her phone. I didn't call them. Marcus realized someone else had. A neighbor. Someone who heard the noise. Claire looked at him, desperation in her eyes. You need to run. Marcus shook his head. I'm not running. They'll arrest you. They'll say you attacked them. Let them. The sirens screamed closer. Red and blue lights flashed through the windows. Marcus turned to Claire. Stay strong. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. The police came through the front door. 4 officers, guns drawn, shouting commands. Marcus raised his hands. "I'm unarmed." They slammed him against the wall. Handcuffs bit into his wrists. Cold metal, familiar weight. One officer checked the 2 men on the floor. They were conscious now, groaning, playing the victims. "He attacked us," the linebacker lied. "Came at us with a weapon. We were just doing our job." The officer looked at Marcus. "Is that true?" Marcus said nothing. He knew how this worked. His word meant nothing. Theirs meant everything. They led him downstairs. Outside, neighbors stood on their lawns, watching. Phones out, recording. Marcus kept his head down. He thought of Lily. She would hear about this. She would be scared. As they pushed him into the patrol car, he glanced back at the house. Claire stood at the window, her hand pressed against the glass. Marcus did not regret what he did. He never could. They held him for 48 hours. The holding cell was small, concrete walls, metal bench, a toilet in the corner. Marcus sat with his back against the cold wall and stared at nothing. No lawyer, no phone call that mattered. The public defender they assigned him was 20 minutes late and looked like he had not slept in days. "Mr. Hayes, I'll be honest with you. This doesn't look good." Marcus said nothing. "The 2 men you assaulted are pressing charges. Assault and battery. Trespassing. They're claiming you attacked them unprovoked while they were performing their duties as private security." "That's a lie." The lawyer sighed. "It's your word against theirs. And they have a very expensive legal team already involved." "What about the girl?" "Claire." "She saw what happened. Miss Whitmore isn't talking. Her family has made it clear they want this handled quietly." The lawyer closed his folder. "Look, I'll do what I can, but you need to prepare yourself for the possibility of serious charges." Marcus looked at his hands, calloused, scarred. Hands that fixed things. Hands that had just broken 2 men. "What about my daughter?" The lawyer softened slightly. "She's with a neighbor. Social services has been notified, but as long as this gets resolved quickly, she'll be fine." Resolved quickly, as if any of this could be undone. By Wednesday afternoon, the story had spread. Local news picked it up first. "Plumber arrested after violent altercation at mansion." The headline made it sound like Marcus had gone there looking for a fight. The article mentioned the 2 security guards. Their injuries. It mentioned Marcus's background. Former Marine. No prior arrests. But the way they wrote it made him sound unstable. Dangerous. They did not mention Claire. They did not mention Sunday night. They did not mention why Marcus was even in that hallway. Social media was worse. People who did not know him, who had never met him, decided who he was in 140 characters. Another angry vet who couldn't control himself. Rich people can't even hire help without getting attacked. Lock him up before he hurts someone else. Marcus did not see any of it, but Lily did. She sat in Mrs. Patterson's living room, the neighbor who had agreed to watch her. The television was on. The news segment played. Lily saw her father's name, saw his picture, heard the anchor say words like violent and dangerous. Mrs. Patterson quickly turned it off, but it was too late. "That's not true," Lily whispered. Her small hands gripped the blue yarn bracelet on her wrist. Daddy wouldn't hurt anyone unless he had to. Mrs. Patterson knelt down. "I know, sweetheart. I know." But the doubt was already planted. Lily heard the neighbors talking when they thought she could not hear. What kind of father gets himself arrested? That poor girl. She'll end up in foster care. Lily cried herself to sleep that night, clutching the stuffed rabbit her mother had given her years ago. In the cell, Marcus sat in silence. He was not angry. Anger required energy he did not have. He was just tired. Tired of a world that punished people for doing the right thing. Tired of being invisible until he became inconvenient. But more than anything, he was afraid. Afraid that Lily would see him the way the world did. Afraid that she would grow up ashamed of him. He touched the wedding ring on his finger. The engraving was worn smooth now, but he could still feel it. Love protects. He had protected Claire. He had done what Sarah would have wanted. But sitting in this cell, he wondered if it had been worth it. On the second night, footsteps echoed down the corridor. A guard stopped at his cell. "Hayes, you've got a visitor." "Lawyer." Marcus stood. "I already talked to my lawyer." The guard shrugged. "This one's different. Says someone important wants to meet you." The cell door opened. Marcus stepped into the hallway, and for the first time in 2 days, something shifted. Someone knew the truth. The lawyer was not what Marcus expected. Tailored suit, silver cufflinks, leather briefcase that probably cost more than Marcus made in 6 months. He moved with the confidence of someone who had never lost a case. They sat across from each other in a small interrogation room. Bare table, 2 chairs, a camera in the corner, its red light off. The lawyer did not introduce himself right away. He just studied Marcus with sharp, calculating eyes. "Mr. Hayes," he finally said, "my name is Jonathan Pierce. I represent the Whitmore family." Marcus felt his jaw tighten. "Then you're here to bury me." Pierce shook his head. "Actually, I'm here to get you out." Marcus stared at him. "Why?" "Because someone very powerful wants to meet you. And he doesn't appreciate being kept waiting." "Who?" Pierce opened his briefcase and pulled out a tablet. He tapped the screen, then turned it toward Marcus. Security footage. Black and white. Timestamp from Sunday night. The parking lot. 2 men dragging Claire toward a car. Then Marcus, appearing from the shadows. The fight. It was over in seconds. Claire stumbling away, safe. Pierce swiped to the next video. Tuesday. The hallway in the Whitmore mansion. The 2 men advancing on Marcus. The knife. The fight. Marcus defending himself. Never once throwing the first punch. "This is what actually happened," Pierce said. "Not the story those 2 men are selling." Marcus looked up. "Then why was I arrested?" "Because Gregory Whitmore didn't know, Claire's father. He's been out of the country on business. When he returned yesterday and found out what happened, he started asking questions. The answers he got didn't match the charges filed against you." Pierce closed the tablet. "Mr. Whitmore wants to meet you. Tonight. He's already arranged for your release. All charges will be dropped within the hour." Marcus leaned back. "And what does he want in return?" "Nothing. He just wants to talk. People like him don't do anything for nothing." Pierce almost smiled. "You're right to be skeptical, but I assure you, this meeting is in your best interest. And if I refuse? Then you'll walk out of here a free man, and we'll never contact you again." Pierce stood, straightening his cuffs. "But I think you'll want to hear what he has to say." Marcus thought of Lily, of the neighbors whispering, of the world that had already decided he was guilty. "Fine," he said. "I'll meet him." 2 hours later, Marcus stood outside the police station, blinking in the late afternoon sun. His truck was still parked at the Whitmore estate, so Pierce had sent a car. Black, sleek, the kind with tinted windows and leather seats. The driver said nothing as they pulled away from the curb. They drove through the city, past the neighborhoods Marcus knew, into the part of town where buildings touched the sky. They stopped in front of a glass tower. Whitmore Industries. The name etched in steel above the entrance. Pierce was waiting in the lobby. "He's upstairs, top floor." Marcus followed him into an elevator. It moved so smoothly he barely felt it. When the doors opened, they stepped into an office that overlooked the entire city. A man stood at the window, 60 years old, gray hair, suit that fit like a second skin. He turned. "Mr. Hayes, thank you for coming. You saved the person I love most in this world." Gregory Whitmore did not look like a man who controlled a billion-dollar empire. He looked tired, the kind of tired that sleep could not fix. He gestured to a leather chair near the window. "Please, sit." Marcus remained standing. "I'd rather not." Gregory nodded, as if he expected that. "Then I'll stand too." Pierce excused himself and closed the door behind him. The office fell silent except for the faint hum of the city below. Gregory walked to a small bar cart and poured 2 glasses of whiskey. He offered one to Marcus. "I don't drink on the job." "You're not working right now." Marcus took the glass but did not drink. Gregory downed his in one swallow, then set the glass down with a sharp click. "Do you know who I am, Mr. Hayes?" "A man who hires thugs to control his daughter." Gregory flinched. The words landed like a punch. He turned back to the window. "That's what you think of me." "That's what the evidence shows." Gregory's shoulders sagged. "I didn't hire those men. My business partner did. A man named Thomas Crane. He wants Claire to marry his son. He thinks it will solidify our merger." When I refused, he took matters into his own hands. Marcus stayed quiet, waiting. "I've been traveling for weeks, closing deals, building this empire. I thought Claire was safe at home with her mother. I didn't know Crane had placed his own security detail in my house. I didn't know they were watching her every move." Gregory's voice cracked. "I didn't know she was a prisoner in her own home." "You should have known." The words hung in the air. Harsh. True. Gregory turned to face him. "You're right. I should have. I was so focused on building something for her, I forgot to actually be there for her." Marcus saw something in the older man's eyes. Something familiar. Regret. The kind that ate you from the inside. "My wife died 5 years ago," Gregory continued. "Cancer. Claire was 19. I threw myself into work because I didn't know how to grieve. I thought if I made the company bigger, stronger, it would protect her from ever feeling pain again." He laughed bitterly. "But all I did was push her away. And when Crane came to me with his proposal, I didn't see it for what it was. I thought it was business. I didn't realize he was using my absence against me." Marcus finally spoke. "How do you lose sight of your own daughter?" Gregory met his eyes. "The same way you lose sight of anything. One decision at a time, one meeting, one trip. One day where you tell yourself you'll make it up to her later." He sat down heavily in his chair. "And then one day, you realize later never comes." The silence stretched. Marcus thought of Lily. Of every morning he woke up at 5 to braid her hair. Of every night he tucked her in, no matter how tired he was. "I lost my wife too," Marcus said quietly. "Car accident, 3 years ago." Gregory looked up. "Someone ran a red light, hit her, drove away." Marcus stared at the glass in his hand. "I have a daughter, 8 years old. Her name is Lily. I'm sorry." Marcus nodded. "After Sarah died, I gave up everything. Sold the house, quit my job, moved into a trailer. People thought I was crazy, but I didn't care, because Lily needed me, and I wasn't going to let work or money or anything else take me away from her." Gregory's face crumpled. "How do you do it? Keep going?" "I made a promise, at Sarah's grave, that I'd teach Lily some things are worth fighting for, that I wouldn't let the world make me stop caring." The older man wiped his eyes. "I've spent my whole life building an empire, but I can't even protect my own daughter. You can start now." Gregory looked at him. "Is it too late?" "I don't know. That's between you and Claire." The door opened. Claire stepped in, her mother behind her. Claire's eyes were red, but when she saw Marcus, relief flooded her face. "You're okay," she whispered. Marcus nodded. "Are you?" She crossed the room and took his hand. Her grip was tight, desperate. "You could have walked away. Both times. But you didn't. Why?" Marcus glanced at the ring on his finger. "Because someone once told me that love protects, even strangers." Claire's eyes filled with tears. "My mom used to say that too." She knelt down, still holding his hand. "You gave me something I thought I'd lost. Hope. Hope that good people still exist in this world." Gregory stood, his own hands shaking. He walked over to Marcus and extended his hand. "I don't know how to repay you." Marcus shook his head. "Be the father she needs. That's all." Gregory pulled Claire into his arms. She collapsed against him, sobbing. He held her tight, whispering apologies into her hair. For the first time in years, they looked like a family. Marcus was released that evening. When he pulled into the driveway, Lily was already running out. "Daddy!" She launched herself into his arms, crying. Marcus held her tight. "I'm okay, sweetheart. I'm okay." Mrs. Patterson stood on the porch, relieved. She gathered her things and left them alone. Inside, Lily refused to let go. "They said bad things about you on TV. They said you were dangerous." Marcus stroked her hair. "People say things when they don't know the whole story. But I know. You would never hurt anyone unless you had to. You're right. I only did what I thought was right." Later, Marcus made grilled cheese and tomato soup. They ate together, and Lily showed him a crayon drawing. 2 stick figures holding hands. "That's you and me. Together, always." Marcus taped it to the refrigerator. After dinner, they sat on the couch. Lily grew quiet, then started unwrapping the blue yarn bracelet from her wrist. "Lily, what are you doing?" She held it out. "Mommy told me to give this to someone special when I grew up, but I think you need it now." Marcus stared at the faded blue yarn. "Sweetheart, your mom made that for you." "I know, but she made it for us, so we wouldn't forget to hope." Lily slipped it over his wrist. It barely fit, but Marcus did not take it off. "Mommy said this color means hope. She wanted us to always have hope, even when things are hard." Marcus looked at the bracelet, then at his daughter. His eyes burned. "Thank you, baby." Lily hugged him tight. "I love you, Daddy. I love you too." That night, after Lily fell asleep, Marcus sat on the trailer steps. The blue yarn bracelet circled his wrist. The silver wedding ring circled his finger. 2 symbols, 2 promises. 3 days later, Gregory called. "Mr. Hayes, I need to see you. There's something you should know." At the office, Gregory looked like he had not slept. He pulled out a thick file and set it on the desk. "What's this?" Marcus asked. "The truth. About your wife's accident." Marcus went still. Gregory opened the file. Traffic camera stills. A black luxury sedan running a red light. The timestamp matched the night Sarah died. The car belonged to Thomas Crane, my business partner. He was drunk, hit your wife and drove away. Marcus could not breathe. "What?" "I didn't know. Not until 2 weeks ago. I've been investigating him, collecting evidence." Gregory's hands shook. "I was a coward, afraid of losing everything. I told myself I needed more proof. But the truth is, I was just afraid." Marcus stood, the chair scraping back. "You knew the man who killed my wife. Tomorrow, Crane will be arrested. For Sarah's death, for conspiracy, for everything. He'll spend the rest of his life in prison." Marcus braced his hands on the chair. "That doesn't bring her back." "I know, and I'm sorry." Gregory stood. "Your wife died because a powerful man thought he was above the law, and I enabled that by looking the other way." Marcus turned. "Why tell me this now?" "Because you deserve to know, and because you showed me what courage actually looks like." Gregory's eyes were wet. "You saved my daughter when I couldn't. You reminded me what really matters." Marcus walked to the window. Somewhere down there, the man who killed Sarah had been living free, but not anymore. "Justice is coming," Gregory said quietly. "It's late, but it's coming." Marcus touched the blue yarn bracelet. He thought of Sarah, of Lily. Justice doesn't fix anything. It just keeps the wound from getting worse. "I know, but it's all I can offer." Marcus walked to the door. He stopped. "Make sure he pays for every second she suffered." "I will." Marcus did not go home. He drove to the cemetery instead. He climbed the fence and walked to Sarah's grave. He sat down on the cold ground beside the headstone. For a long time, he said nothing. "I found out who did it," he finally whispered. "Thomas Crane. They're arresting him tomorrow. He traced the edge of the stone. But it doesn't feel like I thought it would. You're still gone. A car passed on the road. Headlights swept across the gravestones. Marcus looked at the ring on his finger. Love protects. You told me not to let the world make me cold. I've been trying, but it's hard. He thought of Claire, of the fights. I saved someone, twice, but the man who hurt her is the same man who took you from me, and I don't know what to do with that. His hands tightened into fists. Part of me wants to find him, to make him feel what I felt. His voice broke. But that's not what you would want. You'd tell me to let the law handle it. To focus on Lily. He leaned his forehead against the stone. I'm so tired. Tired of pretending I'm okay. The stars came out. Marcus stayed there, silent. Finally, he stood and brushed off his jeans. Lily gave me her bracelet. The one you made. She said we need to keep hoping. He held up his wrist. So I'm going to try. For her. For you. He started to walk away, then stopped. I forgive you for leaving. I know it wasn't your choice. His voice steadied. And I forgive him too. Not because he deserves it, but because holding on to hate will destroy what's left of me, and Lily needs me whole. Marcus walked back to his truck. For the first time in 3 years, he felt something close to peace. Small, fragile, but real. The news broke the next morning. Marcus was making pancakes when his phone started buzzing. Mrs. Patterson knocked on the door. Marcus, turn on the TV. Channel 5. The morning news showed a reporter outside the police station. Thomas Crane, prominent real estate developer, has been arrested on multiple charges, including vehicular manslaughter, hit and run, conspiracy to commit kidnapping, and obstruction of justice. Marcus froze. Footage showed Crane in handcuffs. The reporter continued. Crane was responsible for the death of Sarah Hayes 3 years ago. New evidence led to his arrest early this morning. The screen showed Marcus. Security footage from the parking lot. From the mansion. Clear video of him defending himself. Protecting Claire. The man who intervened has been identified as Marcus Hayes, a local plumber and former Marine. Hayes was wrongfully arrested earlier this week. All charges have been dropped. Lily looked up from her coloring. Daddy, that's you on TV. By noon, the story had spread everywhere. Social media exploded. Number Justice for Marcus trended. Strangers shared his story. Local news ran interviews with neighbors. Mrs. Patterson appeared on screen. Marcus is the kindest man I know. What happened to him was wrong. That evening, Gregory held a press conference. Marcus watched the recording on his phone. Gregory stood behind a podium, Claire beside him. I stand before you not as a CEO, but as a father who failed. Marcus Hayes saved my daughter when I couldn't. He showed me what true courage looks like. He looked into the camera. Marcus didn't ask for money or recognition. He simply did what was right, even when it cost him everything. The world needs more people like him, people who choose kindness over fear. Claire stepped forward. Mr. Hayes taught me that you don't need power to be strong. You just need a good heart. Thank you for giving me hope when I had none left. The footage was shared thousands of times. Headlines changed. Local hero saves woman twice, wrongfully arrested. Marine turned. Plumber shows true courage. The quiet hero, Marcus Hayes. But Marcus did not care about any of it. He only cared that Lily was safe, and that maybe, finally, Sarah could rest knowing justice had been served. Saturday morning, a black car pulled up to the trailer. Marcus was outside, fixing the broken step. Lily sat beside him, handing him nails. Claire stepped out first, followed by Gregory and his wife. Lily stood up, suddenly shy. Marcus set down his hammer. Claire walked forward and knelt down at eye level with Lily. You must be Lily. Your dad told me about you. Lily peeked out from behind Marcus. He did? He said you're the bravest person he knows. Lily smiled a little. He's braver. Claire reached into her pocket and pulled out a small bracelet, pink yarn, woven in the same pattern as the blue one. My mom made this before she passed away. She told me to give it to someone who reminded me what hope looks like. Claire held it out. I want you to have it. Lily looked up at Marcus. He nodded. She stepped forward and held out her wrist. Claire tied the bracelet carefully. Now we match, Claire said. Lily looked at the pink yarn, then at the blue one on Marcus's wrist. She smiled. Claire stood and turned to Marcus. I'll never be able to thank you enough. Before Marcus could respond, she stepped forward and hugged him. Not like a stranger, like family. Gregory moved forward and extended his hand. You reminded me what being a father actually means. We'd like to invite you both to dinner, just two families sharing a meal. Marcus hesitated. Lily tugged his sleeve. Can we go, Daddy? He looked down at her hopeful face. All right, we'll come. After they left, Marcus and Lily stood on the porch. I like her, Lily said. Me too. That evening, they ate spaghetti together. Lily talked about the pink bracelet, about how their family felt a little bigger now. After dinner, they sat on the porch steps. The sun was setting. Lily leaned against him. Daddy, do you think Mommy would be happy? Marcus looked at the two bracelets, blue and pink, old yarn holding new hope. Yeah, sweetheart, I think she'd be very happy. For the first time in 3 years, the weight on his chest felt lighter. A week later, Gregory called. I have a proposal. I want you to be Director of Security and Personnel at Whitmore Industries. $200,000 a year, full benefits education fund for Lily. Marcus stared at his phone. I'm a plumber. I don't know anything about corporate work. You know about people. You see things others miss. You protect without asking for reward. That's what I need. Marcus looked out the window. I appreciate the offer, but I don't think I belong in places like yours. A month ago I would have agreed, but you taught me that dignity isn't about titles or money. It's about how you treat people when no one's watching. Gregory's voice was firm. Think about it. This isn't charity. Lily deserves a father who doesn't have to choose between paying rent and fixing the truck. That hit hard. Marcus thought of the bills on his counter, of Lily's shoes getting too small. I need time. Take all you need. That night, Marcus sat on the trailer steps with Lily. Daddy, what's wrong? I got offered a new job today. Big one. More money. Better insurance. College savings for you. Lily's eyes widened. That sounds good. But it means change. New responsibilities. Working with people I don't know. Lily set down her crayon. Mommy always said you're the bravest person she knows. I think you should try. Marcus pulled her close. When did you get so wise? I learned from you. Marcus called Gregory 3 days later. I'll take the job, but on one condition. Name it. I keep my toolbox. When something's broken, I still get to fix it myself. Gregory laughed. Deal. The first day felt wrong. Marcus stood in front of his closet, staring at his 2 dress shirts. He chose the cleaner one. Lily helped him knot his tie. You look like a superhero in disguise, she said. He barely recognized himself in the mirror. At the office, people stared. Marcus kept his head down. His office was small but had a window. On the desk sat his old toolbox. Gregory had it delivered. Marcus ran his hand over the worn handle. This was who he was. He could not forget that. The first week was overwhelming. Meetings, emails, terms he did not understand. But Marcus watched, listened, learned. He noticed things others missed. The security guard who limped, the janitor working double shifts, the assistant who flinched when her boss yelled. By the second week, Marcus started making changes. He met with teams, asked about concerns, listened, treated people like people. One afternoon, he heard shouting from a conference room. He opened the door. A senior manager was berating a young woman in front of her team. You're worthless. I don't know why we even hired you." The woman had tears in her eyes. Marcus stepped inside. "That's enough." The manager turned, face red. "Who do you think you are?" "Someone who knows that respect doesn't come from a title." The manager stepped forward. "You've been here 2 weeks. You don't get to tell me how to run my team." Marcus did not move. His voice stayed calm. "I've been alive 42 years, and I know cruelty when I see it." He turned to the young woman. "Take the rest of the day off, paid. Come see me tomorrow." Then he looked at the manager. "We'll talk, in private." In his office, Marcus sat down. "I'm not here to play corporate games. I'm here to make sure people are treated like human beings. If you can't do that, you're in the wrong job." The manager left without another word. Marcus looked at his toolbox. At the blue yarn bracelet on his wrist. He was still the same person, just in a different place, and maybe that was okay. 6 months passed. The office had changed. People smiled more. The culture built on fear was giving way to something softer, something human. Marcus started a program for single parents, flexible hours, childcare assistance, paid family leave, things he wished he had when Sarah died. Gregory approved everything without hesitation. Claire visited often. She had enrolled in college, studying social work. She wanted to help people who felt trapped. One Saturday, the Whitmores came to the trailer for dinner. They ate spaghetti and garlic bread, simple food, good company. Afterward, they sat on the porch steps and watched the sunset. Lily and Claire shared earbuds. Gregory and his wife held hands. Marcus looked at the blue yarn bracelet, barely holding together now, but he would not replace it. "Thank you," Gregory said quietly. Marcus glanced at him. "For what?" "For showing me what I'd forgotten, that being a good father matters more than being a successful businessman." Marcus looked at Claire teaching Lily how to braid hair. "You're doing better." "Because you chose to," Marcus said. "I just reminded you that you could." That night, after everyone left, Marcus tucked Lily into bed. "Daddy, are we happy now?" Marcus thought about it. Really thought about it. "Yeah, sweetheart. I think we are." "Good. I think Mommy would be happy too." He kissed her forehead. "I know she is." Outside, Marcus looked at an old photo on his phone. Sarah holding newborn Lily. Smiling. "We made it," he whispered. "Not the way we planned, but we made it." He touched the wedding ring. The engraving was smooth now, but he did not need to see it to remember. Love protects. It always had. It always would. A few weeks later, Marcus was driving home when he saw a woman on the roadside. Flat tire. She looked scared. Marcus pulled over. "Need help?" The woman looked relieved. "Yes, please." Marcus grabbed his toolbox and changed her tire in 10 minutes. "Thank you so much. How much do I owe you?" Marcus shook his head. "Nothing. Just doing what's right. But I have to pay you something." "Then do something kind for someone else. That's payment enough." The woman's eyes filled with tears. "You have no idea how much this means." Marcus smiled. "Drive safe." He got back in his truck. Lily was watching. "That was nice, Daddy. Just helping someone who needed it. Like you always do." Marcus looked at her, at the pink bracelet on her wrist, at the blue one on his. "Like we always will." They drove home. The sun was setting. The world was still broken in 1,000 places, but there were good people in it, people who chose kindness, and that was enough. Marcus Hayes was not a hero. He was just a man who fixed things, pipes, people, lives. He did not need to be seen. He just needed to care. True heroes do not need recognition. They just need a good heart.